Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the topic of why I believe Tesla stock is not a bubble. I know that with a lot of hype recently around Tesla stock, especially with Tesla being up like 40% just in the past month, and with most of that being just within like the past 10 or 15 days or so. So a lot of people have been buying this stock. Some people have obviously been buying it because of the hype and stuff like that, but it has finally gotten some well-deserved movement in my opinion. So with that being said, a lot of people have been saying that Tesla is a bubble, and keep in mind that these are individuals that just don't understand the fundamentals behind this stock. They don't understand the plan for the future in my opinion. And by the way, if you all do enjoy this content where I talk about Tesla stock and other stocks in the stock market and just my thoughts and opinions, and keep in mind, anything that I say in this video is not to be considered financial advice. It is simply me just sharing my thoughts and opinions about the market. So anyways, when I hear someone say that Tesla is a bubble and they say it with confidence, I see this a lot on Reddit and r/investing and r/stocks. For one thing, I think, okay, these people just don't get it. I'm probably not even going to try to explain to them, because once you do, they always ignore the facts and they always redirect. But it's like when I see all of these posts when Tesla is just on a tear going to the moon, when I see people saying Tesla stock is a bubble, it just reminds me of that SpongeBob meme. It's like, how many times do we gotta teach you, old man? You know, it's like that. And it's just like they just don't get it. Like, the information has been there. It has been there since, years ago, but a lot of the information has really arisen just within the past like 10 months or so, and especially starting since around the time of like last November and last December. But at this point, in my opinion, it's just a lot of willful ignorance rather than actually looking into the stock and looking into the company, because most people that I see that are bearish on Tesla and sort of like talking trash on it, they don't understand what's going on with the company right now. They're just making assumptions about a stock they're not very familiar with that they're seeing going up, and they're looking at it like it's Nikola stock or something. I think it's really valid to be bearish on Nikola stock. I'm personally very bearish on Nikola stock. I even made a video talking about how I think Nikola is a joke, but I'll just ignore this topic because I think somebody we all know is a little bit sue happy right now with people talking about their actual negative opinions on Nikola. But just keep in mind that I'm a Nikola bear. I don't believe in Nikola long term, and a lot of these other EV companies, I do realize that there is a bubble. Now, I'll say this right here and now, I don't think that Tesla is a bubble whatsoever, but I do think the electric vehicle companies, at least some of them, not all of them, but at least some of the electric vehicle companies around Tesla that don't include Tesla are a bubble, because they're looking at Tesla stock and they're expecting and hoping for the same gains that Tesla has had just within like the past year or two. And the problem is a lot of these people don't have access to fractional shares, so they can't really buy Tesla stock. And another problem is that people that do have access to fractional shares or actually have the money to buy a Tesla share, they think that it's already over with in terms of growth for Tesla. And I'll be the first one to say, in my opinion, that I think we're only beginning right here. I think $1,400 is a very low number considering where Tesla could be at in the next 40 years. So for the people buying other stocks as an alternative like Nikola because they think that Tesla has already ran its course and gotten most of the growth that we'll see in its lifetime, I will just personally say that, in my opinion, it would be a much better option to still buy Tesla stock at the current price right now rather than invest in some of these other likely to fail EV companies, and especially the ones like Nikola, which I think is just pretty much a joke. Definitely not dissing any of my Nikola investors out there. I completely understand it if it's just some gamble money that you want to throw around and just mess with and not really worried about losing it, or if you just want to short the stock as well based off of the hype that it's gotten recently. Totally understandable. And for those of you that have some faith in it as well, do your thing, but this is just my opinion. I'm definitely not dissing anyone that decided to invest in that. But like I said, I think the majority of these other EV companies out there and these EV stocks, they are a bubble, but I don't think that Tesla is a bubble, because the bubble that is around all of these other EV stocks is because Tesla is performing so well. And the reason Tesla is performing so well is because it's backed up by the evidence and backed up by the numbers, the deliveries, the future plan, what they've already accomplished already. So Tesla has really achieved and deserved its growth so far, whereas you have a lot of these other companies where people are just panic buying in, hoping that it's the next Tesla, but really the evidence doesn't support that. So like I said, if we're actually talking about bubbles here, I think that Nikola and some of these other EV stocks and EV companies out there are much more likely to be in a bubble than Tesla is. I don't think that Tesla is in a bubble whatsoever. Yes, there may be a significant amount of individuals that are investing in this that may not be investing long term and may sell sometime soon, but that happens with every single stock in the stock market. Even like like with Amazon, some people just take some profit and dip out, just like with many other stocks out there. So that happens across the board and not just with Tesla stock. There's definitely some people jumping on the train right here that may not understand the fundamentals and everything that's going on with Tesla as a company, but a lot of these individuals are still planning to hold long term, and I'm talking like within the next 20 to 40 years, because I think Tesla still has a ton of potential in the future, and so far they've only accomplished a small fraction of their potential in my opinion. So I think there's a lot of great things that can happen with this company in the future. And with that being said, Tesla has a lot of vertical integration that many other EV companies do not have, and that's another reason why I think Tesla is not a bubble, because for one thing, Tesla has zero competition whatsoever. That's definitely a big factor in its stock growth as well, but there's really not any competition out there. Honestly, in my opinion, the biggest form of competition that Tesla has is not a company trying to do its own thing from ground up, but a company like Xpeng, which is just basically directly cloning Tesla and pretty much copying everything they're doing. And that's honestly my opinion. I think the biggest threat to Tesla is not other competing companies that are doing their own thing, but companies that are pretty much cloning them. And then, of course, intellectual property theft, where it's pretty rampant in China. It's a pretty big problem where a lot of companies spend a ton of money on research and development, and they undergo that huge initial cost to come up with some really revolutionary innovation. And then you have companies in China where there's no patent laws and stuff like that, where they don't have to spend any of the money on R&D, and they can just directly copy whatever that company is doing. So I honestly think that's the biggest threat to Tesla. But one really beneficial thing that I think Tesla has an advantage in right now is the full self-driving technology. So that's basically they're using the neural network to train the AI for the full self-driving. And the really beneficial thing about that, in my opinion, is the fact that only data can train that network. So even if other companies out there are trying to copy, they have to get their own data from their own vehicles and drivers to put into that neural net and then train the AI. So that's a really big benefit that Tesla has right now, because they have some of the most EVs on the road right now, and every single one of them is gaining data for that neural network. Whereas even if you have a company like Xpeng that is pretty much a direct clone of Tesla, they're still going to have to train their own AI, and that's another thing that pretty much any company is going to have to do for themselves, and it can't really be copied because you have to train your own engine. And keep in mind that Tesla has many aspects of vertical integration as well when it comes to things like how they develop their own computer chip, just like how Nvidia has their own company developed around, making computer chips and graphics cards and stuff like that. Well, Tesla is a not only a car company, but an energy company, a solar company, and a computer chip company as well. As Elon Musk has mentioned before, Tesla is pretty much a bunch of Silicon Valley tech startups. So this is something that I think Tesla is really underrated on, and that is vertical integration. So like I said, they had their own chip design team where they basically created an extremely powerful computer chip. It's so powerful that they still haven't figured out everything that they can utilize from it. They're still working on seeing the full potential of that chip, but basically they future-proof themselves by developing a very powerful computer chip to where in the current time right now, we don't even really have the access to amplify the full power of that chip currently. So as they're getting farther and farther into developing that chip, they're learning what it can do. And that was really smart of them as well to build something extremely powerful that they knew they would be able to learn more about later on. But they sort of future-proofed that chip as well to where it would still be relevant in the near future. So like I said, my reasonings for Tesla not being a bubble, this is just a few reasons. I have many, many more, but these are just a few examples. For one thing, they pretty much have no competition whatsoever. For another thing, their vertical integration is absolutely insane. It's extremely impressive to see what they've been able to do in Tesla as a team. And like I said as well, with the full self-driving, which is really one of the biggest components of Tesla, I would say that is a huge part of the value in the price per share right now, is because a lot of people are expecting Tesla to really be the head of this full self-driving vehicle sector. And right now they do have a huge data lead that pretty much no other company is even close to. There's not any other vehicles out there driving right now in huge fleets that are automatically gathering data. You even have companies that even Amazon has purchased where they're kind of doing things in an archaic manner, such as strapping cameras onto vehicles and then paying the driver to drive around and then having to pay for the gas as well. Whereas you have with Tesla, all of these costs are put on the customers, and the customers are gladly able to get that data for Tesla as a company because they're very loyal and they love Tesla. So with that being said, I just wanted to share my thoughts and opinions about this stock. I feel like there is a ton of misinformation from people that simply just don't get it. They haven't done their research, they haven't looked into the stock, and they're making assumptions about something they really haven't done a lot of research on. And I see this very often on Reddit. So just keep in mind, when you're on the internet, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And honestly, what this says to me, with so many people still being bearish on Tesla, it says there's still an opportunity, in my opinion, because if everybody was on board, then this stock price would be much higher because everybody would be buying. So there's a lot of people spreading fear about Tesla being in a bubble and all of that stuff. And to me, that says there is an opportunity, because if you look at Amazon right now, there's really no one that says Amazon is not worth it, Amazon is a bubble, Amazon is this and that. Yes, I know Amazon has jumped up and surged a lot recently because of the Rona, but you never really hear anybody that questions the fundamentals around Amazon and questions their profits and things like that, and really just talk bad about it, because we all realize that it's a great company, they have a great business model, they're doing the right things right now, we've done our homework pretty much and everybody gets it. Whereas with Tesla at $1,400 right now, you still see tons of people that just don't get it, they're spreading fear, and there's obviously a lot of Tesla bulls out there as well, but when I see so many bearish people on Tesla stock, to me that says there is an opportunity. So with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to smash that like button, it really does help me out, and also feel free to sign up to my referral link in the description to Robinhood and Webull. If you sign up with those links, then we'll both get some free stocks, and it also helps support the channel as well, which I greatly appreciate it. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Stay safe out there.